Alright, you guys, I'm back. This is a new type of video. Alright, start with scenery. I'm sitting at the Tree of Life, a nice little park. That's considered the golf hole. I just played some golf, ran a mile around a couple laps. I had a new idea for a style of video, putting the camera down and just yapping about whatever. I don't have time today because I gotta go in a half hour. I gotta shower. I'm sweating like shit. It's Wednesday, and I think I'll be back here on Friday. Dip my toes in this format, passing it off to future Noah to yap about whatever he wants.
2 days later.
And it's Friday now. I'm back like I said I'd be. Just played golf again. Kind of played like shit. My irons are getting better, but my driver still stinks. Can't get it off the grass. Gotta hit the driving range and figure that out. Anyways, I want to talk about humans, history, human nature, and how it relates to today. I ask a lot of my friends the question, if you could live in any time of human history, what time would you live in? And you know, a lot of them say the 70s or Revolutionary War time, medieval time, even when the first civilizations were being made, like Mesopotamia. But I raise you this. I would want to live before civilization starts. Hear me out. You have small, very tight communities. You have dogs. Apparently we domesticated dogs before the agricultural revolution. About 15,000 years ago, we had dogs. They're really our best friends. Getting a call. Sorry about that. Where was I? Why I would want to live in pre-civilization. So we got hunter-gatherers, and they're some of the most intelligent and talented people in human history. Because think about it. Now, you have industry and you have experts that can do the thinking for you, so you don't even have to think about a lot of things. You don't have to think about healthcare. You don't have to think about where your food comes from. You don't have to think about building a house. You don't have to think about fighting off animals every day. We have that shit taken care of. So they have bigger brains. They actually have bigger brains than us. I think a tree just fell.
What the hell?
I don't know if you could hear that. But anyways, yeah, they would have a lot more on their plate, and their life was a lot more exciting, and they were smarter people than us. Of course, not book smart. They didn't have books, couldn't read. They had music back in the day, which would be nice. Can't live without it. Dogs. Did I mention dogs? I think their life would be a lot simpler. That's all I'm trying to say. We would not have to worry about war between tribes. Might be bad. Human nature is rough. We also had to fight off Neanderthals. They were kicking our ass, but we had the tools. Once we got the tools, we clapped them. Just got interrupted again by some bozo high schooler driving all the way up the hill. Who does he think he is, bro? You're not Bryson. You're not Rory. I digress. I know some of you are gonna say in the comments like, oh, you wouldn't last a day. You would lose a fight to a deer. I hear you. But if I have tools, if I have a bow and arrow and I'm trained, okay? Or I know how to shoot a bow and arrow. I did Wii Sports. I can wield the sword. I think I would have a good chance. And that's not just me being delusional. I think if I had a hunting dog, give me a German Shepherd, and we got a tribe, I think we got a good chance. Where I'm getting a lot of this info from is the book called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. And I don't just like it because his middle name is I just finished chapter 3. I'm loving it so far. And I think it's really interesting, some of the things he's unveiling to modern society. We don't even consider a lot of this shit. Instincts. We have a lot of these instincts still embedded within us, and we don't even realize. And I think if we're more cognizant of that, I think we can use that to our advantage and bring back some of that tribal pre-civilization humanity out. Not the bad parts, obviously. Those come out enough in war and gossip and just all our bad human traits that we all share. But there's a lot to be said about studying human civilization, Homo sapiens, and how they got started. Not many people know this, but Homo sapiens existed at the same time as all the other cousins of the Homos. Homo erectus, the Neanderthal. These all existed at the same time. They teach it in evolution in science class that it was like one sector, like one era was each one. But that's not the case. And they find that in a quick couple thousand year succession, we eliminated all of the other Homos. Pause. The humans. I think that's where a lot of our bad traits come from. We see someone similar but different, and we say, oh, they gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta get packed up. And that's just how we think as humans. It's embedded in us. And we need to be more cognizant of that. A few more crazy findings that I had. So one is we actually mixed with Neanderthals a little bit during our history. This shows up in DNA tests found in, I think it was Western Europe, maybe in England. Like, people do the memes, like, where they make British people seem like, oh, bro, go get the governor. And that that's funny. But there is some truth to it, because Neanderthal DNA was found there. And that means that in our quest to take out the other human competitors, Homo sapiens ended up mixing with Neanderthals because we can't keep it in our pants.
Wow.
Another interesting thing that came up was once you get a group of over 150 people, you can't know everyone. That's in total thousands of individual relationships. If you do the math, that's a lot to manage. So they say a small business, when it goes over 150 employees, that's when it becomes a big business. You can't have an individual relationship with 150 people, realistically. I do like 10 close friends, that's it. I don't got the headspace for all that, I'm sorry. And that's just human nature. Something I found cool was that human language evolved because of gossip about other people. The oldest profession is rumor mills. I mean, other than prostitute. That's how they notify people of cheats and liars within their communities. And so people knew who to watch out for. And this is why we gossip. And I think we need to stop, because it's bullshit. But it is human nature, so we really can't do anything about it. One last thing. The reason humans are so unique is our ability to conceptualize things that aren't there. For example, gods, religion. We are basing this off of our imagination, and we're believing the stories that were passed on to us. And that makes us unique, because animals can only see what they have seen, and they take note of that. I think we're the only beings to have empathy. When you see someone else going through something, and we can actually feel their pain. And I think we need to have a little more empathy these days. I know we're all very desensitized to what's going on in the news and all the bad shit. But I think you need to realize that that person on the other side of the screen and in that text, they are also human. They have all the same emotions as you. Might have a different experience of life because of their circumstances, but you can feel for them as humans. And I think we need to realize that we are all one tribe. And I know what I said about 150 people, that rule, but that goes out the window. We need to have a greater purpose in mind of more than just this is my land and I want more. I think that's where we go wrong. Greed. That is our downfall. We all need to realize that our possessions do not define who we are. Our soul, not even our body. Our soul defines who we are. And I think more people need to get that through their brain. So all that yapping being said, I think we could all just make someone smile today, you know? If you got hurt, you might feel the need to hurt someone else. That's also human nature. Hurt people. I think our trauma does not define us either. If you've been through some bad shit, that's great. You survived. The more perseverance and trauma you've been through shows how strong you are, how much shit you've been through, and you're relatively unscathed. You're still here. So I think that's something to celebrate as well. That's my first yap sesh. It's been your boy, Nova T. Thanks for rocking with me.